Hello and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, and your city manager. And we're here today with a special group, Kathy Hellman, who's the library director for the town of Camp Verde, and also our former mayor, Diane Joens. But they're here in kind of a different capacity today. They are co-chairs of the Verde Valley SciTech Festival. So we've already started off where people are probably asking, at least some of them are saying, what is the SciTech Festival? So who wants to start and tell us what it is?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, Diane is actually the one who began the SciTech Festival in the Verde Valley. It started with the state, Arizona State SciTech, and she brought it up to the Verde Valley through her connections with Jeremy Babinger.
Yes, we were both in a class in the Flynn Brown Civic Leadership Academy, and he emailed me and said, how about a SciTech Festival in Cottonwood? And I said, okay, more work at the time. But he came up and we met with different entities in the community, state parks and national parks and the schools and the cities and towns, the municipalities, and we started this SciTech Festival and SciTech efforts. And what amazed me, I mean totally amazed me, and was so wonderful was the collaboration. The collaboration among cities and towns, all the municipalities were working together, the collaboration among the schools, the businesses. It was just amazing to me to have us all, I mean, we just worked so well, and we still are.
And so what is the intent of the SciTech Festival?
I was just going to say that. The intent is to connect real-world STEM subject, STEAM here we say, science, technology, engineering, art, and math, to kids as they're learning it in school. I mean, that's really the basis of it, because we want kids to not just rotely learn information, but get excited about it, find something that really interests them. And so through STEAM focus, we can bring hands-on activities, connect what they're learning in school to real life and to potential careers. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Well, and it's also for community. You know, it's not just for the schools, although we're focusing on them. It can be adults who want to re-educate themselves. You know, the reason I wanted to participate is because I realized that the workforce is now a global workforce. And if our children and adults aren't trained for the jobs that are coming, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, then who will get the jobs? We have to be prepared. We have to be prepared for our community's economic development, and so that's really, we're working toward that.
And part of, you know, getting the family engaged in this whole process is also because kids they don't learn without the support of their families. And so by including everyone in the community and trying to appeal to a lot of different demographics, it's really important, because otherwise, you know, how can the kids get to it if the parents aren't interested too, or if they don't see the value for themselves? So it does appeal to everyone in the community. It's a great family experience, SciTech is.
You know, and I can see where particularly younger kids, you know, they're doing math or technology or science, and that ability to transfer that to, what does this mean? How am I going to use it, you know, in my future, in my career?
Like a job in utilities, you know?
Yep.
There's opportunities here locally that they could train for, and that there's a great need to have trained people for. Yeah,
we've certainly talked about water and wastewater and how critical that is to every part of the world. And you know, talk about a job that has job security. You're always going to have that need, and so getting people to understand what they're learning in school through STEAM, and then being able to transfer that is really great.
Yeah, and to make the connections, because sometimes you don't realize something you're doing uses science, technology, engineering, art, or math. I walked into Clarkdale Library a few days ago, and they have this beautiful fiber arts show. I mean, you need math to figure out the weaving part, the spinning, it takes science, technology, engineering, and math to create the weavings that they had on display. So it's not something that just happens. You have to learn those skills, but they didn't think of it like that. You know, they just think, oh, it's a show of weaving. But it's STEM, it's STEAM. And so trying to help people connect what's already happening or what they're already doing. Hey, this is STEAM. You know, this
everyday
does.
lives.
Yeah, it fits in with SciTech.
Yeah.
So,
you know, and it made me think about my youngest son, who Diane knows is a tattoo artist. And everything they do now is on computer. I mean, they draw everything up and they can change it, and you know, it's just amazing what they can do with things now.
Technology and engineering.
Yeah, and it's really an art form, particularly in this area.
Winemaking.
Winemaking.
Think about Thunder Valley Rally, motorcycles, the science of how a motor works. You know, just everything we do, cooking, that meal you made is you know, science. You have to have a lot of skills just to cook. Math.
Yeah. Even if you don't use measuring cups, you still have to gauge, you know, some percentage or ratio of product to product to make it work.
Something as simple as, you know, it calls for a cup and you need a half a cup. Well, you got to figure that out.
Exactly.
So
it's a fraction.
It is important. So you talked about the collaboration. Just a quick rundown. You did a little bit, but I'm sure all the schools are involved, the college?
Yeah, the college. The Big Park School has had an event every year. The Cornville School, Oak Creek School has an event. They're a STEM school, and the middle school in Cottonwood Oak Creek School District is working to become a STEM school. Camp Verde, they participated quite a few years, and they had 800 kids that would see their festivals, which is why we kind of switched from the city of Cottonwood doing an event to Mingus Union High School. And so Cottonwood could go there, you know, Clarkdale, Sedona, the cities and towns could go there and do their activities. The county, Yavapai County, has been a huge participant, APS, Unisource Gas, many other businesses, Precision has been there.
The medical center.
The Verde Valley Medical Center does a fantastic journey.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, fantastic voyage. And they take you into their operating rooms and you can see how everything works. I mean, it's the things that we've had are just amazing. It's just getting the attendance with all of this effort that's put into it, is getting the attendance to these events, which is what we're working on now with our strategic plan, our new strategic plan.
And I know our police department, fire department participate.
They attend meetings, you know, they attend planning meetings.
They go out there with all their toys.
They do, they do. They teach
the
community, you know, and it's just a great thing for families or, you know, whatever, children, adults. Rudy always says it's for toddlers to elders.
And it's free. You know, people attend these events and learn about all of these different organizations in our community and the vital role that they play for free.
National parks, they don't charge when they sponsor wonderful events.
They're doing some stargazing events this year at Tuzigood and some bird walks also.
That's great.
Yeah, Tuzigood and Montezuma Castle and Montezuma Well.
Let's go ahead and take our first break and come back and join us and learn a little bit more about SciTech.
Good job.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, and I'm here today with Diane Joens and Kathy Hellman, and we're talking about the SciTech Festival. You know, I keep using festival. Do we still call it the SciTech Festival?
We're going to Verde Valley SciTech more.
Yeah.
Just Verde Valley SciTech? Okay.
And calling and saying STEAM across the valley.
Okay. It just seems like a festival to me.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like
still
it's
is.
a lot of fun.
It still is.
So you talked, I think, Kathy, you were talking about the strategic plan.
Mm-hmm.
Is there important things that the public would want to know about, you know, what is the plan for Verde Valley SciTech? And
Well, I think that one of the things that came up as we looked at our past efforts and we look to the future is that families are really busy. They have so much going on and they really want to participate in all these wonderful things, but it's hard for them to get to it. And so we started thinking, okay, where are they already? Where are the families so that we can take SciTech to them? We can take STEAM events and STEAM learning to the families. And one of our first thoughts was the Verde Valley Fair. And it's also a real community place. It doesn't just belong to Cottonwood or Camp Verde or Sedona. It's the Verde Valley Fair. And so people come from all over the Verde Valley for that event. It's multi-days, and so we wanted to have a presence there, and we're very excited to actually be at the fair this year. That was one of our goals. One of the strategies we made was how can we not require parents and families to do one more thing, but get where they already are, you know, so that we're being respectful of their time and their commitments.
that's a great idea. And so in that context, what is kind of the schedule for this year? Because I know in past years it's kind of gone on for 3 or 4 days, I think, and there were events each day. Is that process kind of changing?
Well, yes, we're actually going from February 18th to March 18th to for our events to be with the Arizona SciTech Festival dates. Okay. But we also have changed it to last all year long. So if there's something going on that isn't in that time frame, we want it to be part of Verde Valley SciTech. We have a web page and we have a Facebook page.
We do.
And we want to post these events and advertise them for people.
So does that mean you're going to hit like special events around the Verde Valley?
Like the birding festival, the Thunder Valley Rally, is that what it's called? Yeah, the different events that are happening throughout the communities will help promote those. We want SciTech to be a word that people recognize.
Right.
We were in a classroom a week or so ago, and we asked the kids, there must have been 40 kids in there, and they hadn't even heard, they didn't know what SciTech was. And so these were kids who are on student council, so, you know, leadership positions, but they didn't know. And so we had to try to explain to them, and then they started to get it, but they hadn't actually attended events. And so, you know, getting the recognition, the name recognition, getting ourselves out there where the kids are and helping support what's already happening rather than trying to add more commitments to people's
So do the kids know what STEM or STEAM is?
They did.
They know what that is? Well, that's good.
Yeah, that.
So you've just got to translate that
Right.
over to Verde Valley SciTech
Right.
then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
So this year we can expect to see SciTech at the various events
Right.
year round, which I
Yes.
think is a great idea, because I think it is good to always be present, because then people build that recognition of what SciTech really is. But you're doing this one event, and I'm glad you said the dates, because we didn't mention that. So it's February 18th
Through March 18th.
through March 18th.
Right, and some of the things that we're going to be doing, you want to start out?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to be doing a star party at Rezonico Park. That's on February 10th. On February 13th, we're going to be doing Full Steam Ahead at the Cottonwood Library. And I might say the libraries are really wonderful participants and huge supporters of all of this. February 17th, there's a guided bird walk at Montezuma as well. On February 17th, there's time on the Trail of Trees, Tracks and Trails at the Camp Verde Community Library and Rezonico Park. On the 17th, we have quite a few activities that day. There's a polar bear star party at Tuesday Goot.
Yeah.
So like I said, our national parks are huge participants. Steamology at the Cottonwood Public Library on February 21st. February 22nd, 5th grade Invention Convention at the Mountain View Preparatory School. And February 22nd, a stream extravaganza at the Beaver Creek School, and they have been wonderful participants also. February 22nd, Explore West Sedona Makerspace. We're having a lot of participation from the schools there.
Yeah.
Their principal, Scott Keller, is really into it. And he's also working on a program with the state. You want to talk just a
Chief Science
Officer program?
Yeah. That's a program to get a geek, a science nerd, if you will, on the student council at the high school level.
Oh, that's great.
And so that's how it started out. And so they give leadership training, public speaking skills to science students. And it started in the Phoenix area, and now it's actually, they're taking it to Kuwait. And other states have picked up on this idea of bringing the science side to the student council, because normally high school student councils are more sports oriented, the kids that are athletic.
Yeah.
And so to bring the science piece in and make them a champion of the STEM learning in high school, it was the goal. And so we've been trying to get Chief Science Officer training, leadership training here in the Verde Valley. Instead of having to take our high school students down to the Phoenix area for 2 or 3 days, plus a mentor teacher with them. You know, it's a lot to ask.
Yeah, it is.
And so they're working.
Really been advocating for rural areas.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, so they're working to get. They're working with Yavapai College, and maybe we're hoping, this is all in the works, that it will be at the Sedona Center. So they're working on that piece, and Scott Keller's leading the charge on that with the state SciTech people.
That's great.
So yeah.
Hey, you almost wonder if you could weave that somehow into Verde Valley leadership.
We would love to tap into Verde Valley leadership to help with that leadership training piece, because that just falls right in line.
Right.
Yeah, with the
Absolutely.
the teams. So.
Yeah, so this is something that's kind of brewing right now, and working toward getting it. You know, I've tried to get people interested for like 4 years from its infancy, but having Mr. Keller involved or someone from the educational community is really pushing it forward.
Yeah.
You know, me going, even as a mayor, going to a school and going, you know, and it costs some money for the student to participate.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting a lot of progress.
That's great.
With Mr. Keller.
Yeah.
You know, I think of the other thing in terms of leadership, and I know you'll appreciate this, Mayor, is our youth commission.
Absolutely.
I mean, we get, you know, some kids who just come in really meek, and it seems like by the end of their terms, They are, I mean, just show great progress in terms of self-confidence. And
I went to one of these events down in Phoenix with the CSOs, and there were some younger kids too. They had gone to like the White House and Congress, and they got up and spoke, you know, these pretty young kids, and they were amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's great for the kids.
That's fantastic. So did you finish the list now?
I didn't finish the list.
Do
we got a little bit more time?
Let's finish the list.
Okay. We have, like I said, the maker space, which I got off on another tangent. That's in the West Sedona School. The guided bird walk on February 24th at Tuzigoot. February 28th, sign up for 6 Wednesdays, a preschool STEAM program at the Sedona Public Library. March 3rd and 17th, a guided bird walk at Montezuma Well. March 7th, experiments. Drop in Sedona Public Library. Egg experiments. Egg experiments. And March 8th, STEAM night, Big Park Community School. March 8th, experiments. What have you done for the earth today at the Verde Valley Montessori School. March 10th, guided bird walk at the Tuzigoot National Monument. March 17th, Science of Habitat Restoration, sponsored by Friends of the Verde River at Rosanico Family Park in Camp Verde. March 17th, International Archaeology Film Festival at the Camp Verde Community Center. March 17th, Verde River Runoff at White Bridge River Access Point in Camp Verde. March 17th through 18th, Verde Valley Archaeology Fair, Camp Verde Community Center. March 17th and 18th, the annual Spring Heritage Pecan and Wine Festival at the Community Field in Camp Verde. March 27th, STEM Night and Elective Showcase at the Cottonwood Middle School. That one's always fun. I love going to that one. I think I've only missed one in all these years. March 28th, STEM Celebration at the Oak Creek Elementary School, and March 29th, the STEM Fair at Mountain View Preparatory School, and beyond. So out of these dates, we have May 2nd, all-day STEAM at the fair at the Verde Valley Fairgrounds. And we have several days that we're going to be looking for participants to show off STEAM in the community. March 11th will be the STEM Friday Camps Showcase at the Camp Verde School Multi-Center in Camp Verde. And then May 11th is our big extravaganza event. And that is at Yavapai College. It's Discover STEAM in the Verde Valley, and they're entitling it Explorology. And as I understand it, some younger grades will be going, and then it will be open to the public.
From 3 to 6, it will be open to the public.
Wow.
And that's where the tablets and all the drawings are held for participants in the SciTech.
So, I mean, that's quite a list. Where would people find that list so they can track what they want to go to? Is there a website for SciTech? And
it's VV SciTech.org, Verde Valley SciTech.org.
And they have your Facebook address up there and your email address, so they've got it.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take our final break and come back and join us and learn a little bit more about the Verde Valley SciTech.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
Hello and welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, and I'm here with Kathy Hellman and Diane Joens, and we're talking Verde Valley SciTech. And so we talked about kind of the schedule of things, and it's a little bit different this year, but and we talked about where you can get the information on the schedule. And I don't think people realize how fantastic this program really is, because I think, as I remember, it's one of the best in the state. We've actually kind of been asked by other communities, how do you do this?
That's correct.
You want to brag a little bit about?
Yeah.
Well, just the way that Cottonwood and the Verde Valley came together, you know, it all started out with Cottonwood, and I was going like, well, why not the Verde Valley?
Yeah.
And we're just also connected, and so we did. And this, I want to share this. This is the Arizona SciTech Festival. So these are all over the whole state. And when you see this gecko, as Kathy was saying, Verde Valley also has this on our logo. It just says Verde Valley SciTech. But there's events all over the state that you can find on azscitech.com. And so you can, and here's the booklet. You can get these booklets in libraries, and Cottonwood Library, Camp Verde Library.
Office, I mean, they're
Clerk's
all over
office.
the place.
I think City Hall has some. The city halls.
Does
the
that
schools
lay out the different events?
Yes, this is statewide.
And this lays out what they call the signature events, which are some of the biggest events, and like the night of the open door at ASU, I'm sure you've heard of that, but that's a huge event.
Right.
So, and some of the local events are also in there.
Okay. I know there was one other thing we wanted to talk about, and that was the rain grant.
Yes.
We could use some rain.
We could use some rain.
Yes.
And it's very difficult not to use acronyms because the rain grant uses them a lot. But I wrote down what some of the acronyms mean, and it's Rural Activation and Innovation Network is what RAIN stands for. Rural, you notice, it's rural. We're trying to get science, technology, engineering, arts, and math into rural areas. It's not just about Maricopa County, it's about all of us. So we have 4 specific special places that got a $200,000 grant apiece. And that's the Verde Valley. And it's just the Verde Valley. It's not the rest of Yavapai County at this point. It could be in the future. Cochise County, the White Mountain area, which they call the Navapache area, and the Graham-Greenlee counties. And each gets, like I said, $200,000. And after you it comes to about $40,000 to $45,000 a year after expenses. And if anybody would like to apply for a grant, anyone in the community, they could call Alex Helm at Yavapai College. That's at yc.edu is their website. Alex Helm, H-E-L-M, is the person's name who is working with Yavapai College or leading this charge there. There's also a website that I didn't put up on the screen, but it's www.4azrain.org, and the 4 is a 4, the number 4. So www.4azrain.org. And so we're going to be giving out grants, mini grants, things to help promote this.
The grants are meant to support out-of-school STEM learning.
Okay.
This particular project leaves the A out, so it's STEM, not STEAM. Yeah.
So can you give me an example of what would be an out-of-school STEM project?
Well, some of the after-school, like the gardening program at
which it's at Oak Creek School.
Oak Creek School.
Right.
Or a robotics program or coding program at one of the libraries. I know the Friends of the Verde River, no, it's the Nature Conservancy. They're applying because they want to teach kids about water quality and testing water in Oak Creek.
Okay.
You know, so it's the outside of school.
That's great.
Yeah. So.
And it's informal STEM education.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it should be reproducible.
So it almost sounds like it's taking that classroom experience and matching it with
Right.
practical experience.
Yep.
That's great.
And it doesn't have to just be for schools, it can be any kind of community science. It's not just for kids, but a lot of it will be for kids, but it could be for an adult program that brings STEM.
Right.
And we added the arts to our Verde Valley. We want the arts to be in there.
Right.
But with this grant through the National Science Foundation, it can only be STEM. So we call STEM one way and STEAM the other, but that could only be STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math.
And again, you have a total of $200,000, and you're offering grants up to $45,000 to support these out-of-school kind of STEM
Right, but that's
experiences.
per year. So,
Okay.
you know, if one entity got it all, then no one else would get any. So we're thinking it'll probably be some smaller size grants.
Yeah, I think that they
So
capped
it's $45,000 a
it.
year
that we get.
Okay, I get
So
it.
they're
Right.
mini grants, you know,
Okay.
from a couple hundred to 5,000. I think is the
is what they're
cap.
talking.
Yeah,
Well, that works.
yeah.
But unfortunately, we're out of time. So thank you to Kathy
Thank you.
and to Diane for coming and talking about SciTech. And please get your kids and go on out to one of these events. It's great education for your kids and probably for you as well. So thank you for joining us on Inside Cottonwood, and come back and see us again.